Hi guys and welcome, and in this video I'm going to be doing a preview of the Mopelmaken shot kit group build from the Model Maker's Boom Hut on the Book of Face. If you're not a member there, you have time to join because this doesn't start until this coming Saturday, which is Saturday the 26th, something like that, 26th I think. And the premise behind this group build is we're going back to your 7-year-old selves when, with sheer fascination, you bought your first model kit. You have no supplies, so what you do is you buy yourself a starter kit, which includes the models, and it includes a selection of paints, some glue and a brush, all of which are probably a bit pants, but it gets you moving. So you pick a kit that you like and you take it home and you tear open the packaging and you dive into it with gleeful abandon. And that's the idea of this group build. It's a totally back to basics. This is kind of good actually. I'm really looking forward to this because recently, having been quite busy, the whole Christmas New Year period and just one thing or another, I sort of lost my mojo a bit, and I'm still sort of, my cappuccino build is still sitting there unfinished, and I've been looking at it thinking I really need to do something with that, but I've been so busy with things and just not really had the motivation. So hopefully this nice and simple thing, just throwing me back into it, will get that rolling again. So yes, the idea is a starter kit, what's in the box, and then you are allowed 3 items, which would be items that you would pick up randomly from around the house, non-modelling items. Remember, you're a 7-year-old, you're just basically nabbing things from round and about the house that might come in handy, things like nail clippers, things like emery board, sanding sticks like this and that kind of thing. And my 3 items were an emery board sanding stick, a toothpick, and something else. I forget what the other thing was. I have to get back to you on that one. I did, I can't remember what that one was, but yes, I'm sure there was a third thing anyway. Now, onto the kit. I was going to go with a classic Airfix aircraft or something of that nature. And then I thought to myself, well, the thing with that is the good old classic Spitfire kit, that kind of thing. I've built that particular one several times. I've built the ME 109 several times. I've built, and they're the kind of things that most kids start with. And what I wanted to do was try something completely new that I'd not done before. Now, I've had a bash at painting a couple of little Warhammer figures, but I'm not much of a miniatures painter, especially when it comes to brush painting miniatures. So I was sort of looking around and I briefly toyed with the idea of something like one of the Airfix starter ship kits, because I've never built one of those. But I was umming and ahhing what to do, and then I saw somebody with a Space Marine bike, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. So I had a look to see what was available, and these are Warhammer 40k, the Games Workshop, but they're Revell reboxers, which is interesting. So I had no idea these things existed, so I went and I had a look, and yep, there we go. We've got you've got a Space Marines one, and then we've got this Build and Paint Series 1 Space Ork Blastabike with 1 Ork Warbike and 1 Ork Knob, apparently. Presumably that's this delightful chap riding the thing. So let's whip open the packaging and take a look and see what delights we have inside the box. It's your typical crappy Revell thin cardboard box with end openings, sleeves and whatnot. We have Space Ork Blastabike directions, which are typically Revell-ish, and trifold, and yeah, construction looks reasonably straightforward. And this has got, it's not a 2-wheeled bike, it has got a half-tracky kind of thing going on at the back there, which is cool. And then we get an action picture, which is obviously the box art, but in black and white. So we've got a Games Workshop thing saying, here's more of our stuff, buy it, they're cool. This is the Space Marine bike, which I did see, which somebody had already chosen for the build. And for that reason, I thought I want to get something a little bit different, because we don't want to just kind of jump on and grab something that somebody else is doing. And then it shows you a little gaming mat with various figures there. Then we've got the water slide decals, I think they are. Oh, no, these appear to be sticky stickers. Oh, it's even better. That's even more sort of 7-year-old self. That's cool. So we've got stickers, actual stickers, not water slide decal. Pardon me, not water slide decals. We have got a bag that we've dropped on the floor. We've got a bag which contains 3 pots, Airfix Revell style pots. I don't know if these are actually Citadel paints, or if they are Revell ones, which I suspect is most likely Revell Aqua or similar. But we've got a red, a silvery colour and a black colour, sort of gunmetal I guess. We've got a tiny tube of Games Workshop squishy poly cement glue. And that's cool. We have got a Citadel starter brush, and I've got to be honest, that actually doesn't look bad when you compare it to something like where are you? Here is a Humbrol Airfix number 2 brush, which doesn't look too bad in the grand scheme of things, but once you actually, get that loaded up and use it a little bit, you'll find that the tips blaze out, the hairs are uneven, and it's generally a bit crap. But I tend to save these for doing sort of gungy, rubbishy bits on kits that when I think I might damage the brush, so they're handy for something. We have the front wheel of the bike. In fact, what I'm going to do at this point is we're going to scoot in close and have a good close-up look at the sprue. Righty, so I have to remember we're focusing on this kind of square here because I can't see the screen. What we've got here is the Ork Knob, who's the rider. Don't giggle, people, that's the name, that's what it says on the box. This is the rider, the Ork Knob, with his arms, his body, his legs here, and it looks like he's designed in such a manner, yep, he's got an oddly shaped back end, so he's obviously designed in such a manner that you can stand him upright on a provided base, which I'll show you in a moment, or sit him on the bike, which is most likely what I will be doing. So that's quite nicely moulded, I've got to say. Much to my surprise, these actually look like half reasonable, older but half reasonable GW moulds, and I sort of half expected them. They're not brilliant because there's some flash on various bits of like the injection sprue point there, but I half expected them to be really sort of crappy Revell recast type quality, but Revell, they do vary massively. So I've had some Revell kits that are actually quite nicely moulded. I've had some that are quite poor, but so some decent, some not so decent, but these aren't bad, not looking bad. We've got a rack of shells, machine gun bullets or something similar. This is obviously part of a machine gun which fits onto the bike, or a couple of machine guns that fit onto the bike. We have got the back side of the half-tracky bit at the back. It's almost like a Kettenkrad, but with 1 track rather than 2. We've got some huge Daka machine guns. We've got the front handlebars and a big scowly orc face for the headlight. And then we've got the 2 halves of the motorbike with its sticky outy exhaust and chunky engine, big chunky forks. And just quickly flipping it over to look at the other side of that, we've got the half-tracky bits, which look quite nicely detailed. We've got, that's the underside of the thing, obviously the back of the Ork you've seen, the inner parts of the motorbike. This bit here, which looking at the box art is the bit that sticks up behind the Ork and looks like some kind of light or beacon or something similar. And then the other side of the huge Daka machine guns, and the back of the handlebars. And oh, cool. Right, I see. Okay, I am mistaken. When the box said a bike and a figure, what it obviously meant was a bike with figure and a figure. So that's actually kind of cool. So maybe this figure is the Ork Knob that's titled on the box, as in nobility, because he's kind of clad in fancy armour for an orc, because they're usually a bit rusty and rough looking, with a big chunky axe and a machine gun in this arm, and then a head with a big headband display thingy-mabob, with a big feathery thing sticking out of his head. And yeah, we've got sort of skull designs on the axe, and that's really quite nicely moulded. I like that, and a little base there for him to stand on when he's completed. So that's my mistake. I actually thought the other guy, you could choose between having him on a stand or having him on the bike, so that's quite nice. So we've got one orc on his own, and then the motorbike with an orc rider. And then finally we have the front wheel in 2 halves in a black plastic. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the let me reach down here. That is the contents of the Space Ork Blastabike, with its lovely box art like there that you see. And this is what we will be building for the Mopelmaken shot kit group build. So thank you for watching. We'll see you when the build starts.